and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.
Facts are a stubborn thing. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. To our regional and international audience, we say good evening and thank you for tuning in to The Cold Truth, where we get to the root of the issues affecting our nation. I am Kim Cole, and it's a pleasure to be with you today on Synergy TV, and we're also streaming live at The Cold Truth on Facebook. A little later on, you'll get the chance to share your views by calling in 622-9785 or 628-6093. Now, a little background. Today is a special one for our country, as we have officially sworn in the first female president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This morning, we witnessed the inauguration ceremony for Her Excellency Paula May Weeks, and it was a proud and a defining moment as she takes the reign from Anthony Carmona, no stranger to controversy during this time in office. As a matter of fact, Her Excellency will have to hit the ground running from day one, as she may have to appoint someone to act as Chief Justice with the impending sabbatical of, or with the impending vacation of Chief Justice Ivor Archie. While many of us are celebrating this victory for women in this country, my attention was drawn to a view posted in the Trinidad Express newspaper. The question asked, how do you feel about the inauguration of Trinidad and Tobago's first female president? To which Mr. Henson Duncan felt it necessary to respond with, I just feel she should have a husband, and if she has a partner, I feel we should have those facts. In 2018, really? Now, it's no surprise to me that there are men who still hold these old-time views that a woman is nothing without a man at her side, barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, cooking for her husband. I know it's important to share the views of the man in the street with the public, but surely this man's view is not the general consensus. I'd like to hear from some of our viewers at home. What are your thoughts on us having our first female president? And I'd like for you to weigh in also on your views on the Chief Justice's Ivor Archie's impending, departure or vacation, and what you're looking forward to seeing on, or seeing from, our new president's address in her new capacity. Now, guys, if I could ask you to put up the clip from the Express newspaper so our viewers at home could have an idea as to what I made reference of. And whilst we are waiting for, those clips to be put forward, it's important for me to mention that to our callers who contacted the Cold Truth over the past few days, we are definitely looking into the water problem in Enterprise. We have contacted the alderman from the Enterprise area, and she's willing to assist. Now, her name is Miss Marissa V. Ram-Logan. She is an alderman attached to the Chaguanas Borough Corporation. We are also looking into the trees, the situation involving, the trees within the Valsine area near to Moda Live. And it has been brought to my attention that people are losing their property through false deeds. And there is also an incident where people are losing their land in the California area. And we definitely, going to tap into that, a bit later on in the week. Now, our telephone lines are open, 622-9785 or 628-6093. As, we discuss, we touch a little bit about a female woman, our first female president and also the issue regarding the Chief Justice. Now, I want to touch on our hot button topic for today. Facts are a stubborn thing. Now, this was Hazel Manning's response to the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. And there we do have, you know, an actual picture of Miss Hazel Manning. Now, before we get into our discussion, a bit of context. We all know that adequate and affordable housing is a big issue in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, according to the HDC website, the View Fort Housing Development Project in St. James, it comprises 137 apartment units in 4 building structures. Now, Building A comprises of 44 units, Building B 48 units upon completion, Building C 25 units, and Building D 20 units. Now, in his feature address at the distribution ceremony for the View Fort development, Dr. Rowley said, and I quote, "Permit me to get personal on this. I heard my colleague talk about our political opponents. It is not only your political opponent that can do bad things. Your political friends can do bad things too. Now, this project wasn't stopped by our political opponents." And I'm still quoting from Dr. Rowley. Dr. Rowley says that it fell prey to our own politics in the PNM. He said, "You may recall one day in the Parliament, our Prime Minister got up and mentioned that $10 million was missing from the HDC and that the Minister had to account for it." Now, I got to stop to take this call. Hi, good afternoon, caller, you're live.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, my dear. Caller, you are live?
You brought up President. Hello?
Yes, I can barely hear you.
Are you hearing me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Nice. The President has accomplished a lot in her life with her man, and she can continue doing so without a man. She did not accomplish her PhD or the academic level she got to with a man. She didn't become a magistrate with a man. She didn't become a chief justice with a man. She didn't need a man to go on to make all of these accomplishments. Right? So I don't see why she should have a man now to be a good president. So the foolish person would not give her any much. No, that's what this article that this guy says. They were eventually there, and we were moving to the 21st century, right? Mm-hmm. Because that is a prehistoric thinking, even before, I believe. Understand?
Yes, I do understand. But how do you also feel about the fact that he mentioned if she does have a partner that we should know about it? Do you think that it is our business to get into the personal life?
Let me be honest with you. The president has disappointed me with responding to that. I personally feel the president-elect, when she was that, then she should not have responded to that. Right? Her sexual preference is her business. Right? If she do have a man, and if she do have children, and if she do have, that is her business. A woman, there are many women in this world that choose not to have children. And I should not justify that or explain to anybody against the job. But it all boils down to the same sexist thing that women are trying to get away from. Because I don't have a child, or because I have a man, I have to explain to you, prove that I'm not a lesbian, or prove that I'm not this or that or the other. We claim that going forward, but we way back still. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, my dear, but now what are your thoughts on the Chief Justice?
Well, that is...
Because remember, she will have to deal with the issue regarding the Chief Justice.
That's the first decision as president she has to make, right? And the first decision that she has to make now, because the Chief Justice is still in the office while she is president. The first decision she has to make now is to approve his leave. So we will need to see what happens with that because I know it was the one. Tomorrow, he just waited on this exchange to this inauguration to happen.
Right.
So I don't know if now it is prerogative to send him on the vacation or if it was already done by the former president.
Now, can I ask you something, caller? Do you think that we could have waited on the current president, well, the new president, to make a decision, given the fact that it was only last week President Carmona signed off?
Well, it could have gone anyway, because the president has the prerogative to make that decision because he is still well, he can tell hold on, even just now, wait till the new president come in and make a decision. But anyway, it was over. So the question was, look, I am not going to just make a decision on this, or this is a decision I made, and clearly right away, the president made a decision, and the Chief Justice apparently, I don't know if he can still go or not, because I know that was in a kind of time in the timeline, and that's still up in the air. If the new president now can stand down his leave, or has to go with the decision of the old president, if the old president has approved his leave, his vacation leave, and not the sabbatical leave.
And not the sabbatical leave.
We know the old president approved the sabbatical. The sabbatical was stood down from the prime minister, but we're not sure if the old president approved the vacation.
Right.
You understand? So if there's still a lot of the old president did with the vacation as opposed to the sabbatical. So we are waiting for the reasons to do it. Right?
Yes.
What you were talking about your reference to housing. I would listen to him where you're going because I know I have a feeling about those particular houses are not in the housing ministry. But I will listen on the television and call back to them. Okay?
Thank you so much for your contribution, and I do expect you to call back to chime in on this piece of bacchanal that brewing here in the PNM. Now, thank you so much for your call. Do we have another call already? Okay, now we've got to stop to take a very short break, but when we return, we will definitely be getting into, you know, a hot topic for this afternoon, which is the HDC, Hazel Manning versus Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. You're watching The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.
Edge Solution is a brand of hair and skin products that are used to treat different issues. We offer a hair treatment oil that repairs traction, alopecia, and thinning hair and edges. A scalp treatment cream that's used for dandruff, dry scalp, folliculitis, and other funguses that are in the scalp. We also have a shampoo and conditioner that works along with our cream and oil, giving you maximum benefits. Our shampoo is peppermint infused, which helps unclog pores and aid in hair regrowth. We also have a calming skin lotion, which is excellent for psoriasis. eczema, and other skin issues. All our products are all natural and contains no harsh chemicals and are 100% handmade.
Hi, welcome to Tanti's Creole Food Delight. We are located at Orsa Spaniard and Duke Street, Port of Spain. Graduated from THCI, which is, they call Hotel School at Shagaramas, and I am the owner of this business. And we have daily lunches, which is from Tuesdays to Saturdays. On a Saturday, we do breads, sweet bread. We also have soups, oxtail soup and cowbell soups to your delight. We also have different menus daily from 11 to 3. We also cater for different occasions like weddings and birthday parties. We always want to ensure that the customer is satisfied with the end product here at Tanti's Kitchen.
The Red Edge Mall at the corner Mooneyram Street and Western Main Road, St. James, where parking is available for our valued customers on both sides of the street. Red Edge Mall caters for the health conscious, the tastiest soups you'll ever find, the freshest produce, trendy clothing for the fashion dons and divas. Experience the most exotic African male and female outfits, costume jewelry of all descriptions. If you're one who pays special attention to your hair, welcome to the home of hair. Get the latest and widest variety of phones of all descriptions and repairs on the spot at the Red Edge Mall. Closing time 9 p.m. The Red Edge Mall, making shopping affordable. Powered by the Black Caucus Movement.
The Black Caucus Movement, we're making a statement. The Black Caucus Movement, making a statement. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our...
Welcome back to our program. You are watching The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. Now, our topic for today, as promised, facts are a stubborn thing. Now, Hazel Manning's response to the Prime Minister. Remember, we are streaming live at The Cold Truth on Facebook. So be sure to like our page for updates or to get in on the discussions. Now, we all know that adequate and affordable housing is a big issue in Trinidad and Tobago. And just a reminder, our telephone lines are open 622-9785 or 628-6093. Now, according to the HDC website, the View Fort Housing Development Project in St. James comprises of 137 apartment units in 4 building structures. Building A comprises of 44 units, Building B 48 units. Upon completion, Building C 25 units and Building D 20 units. Now, in his feature address at the distribution ceremony for the View Fort development, Dr. Rowley said, and I quote, "Permit me to get personal on this, and I will continue after this call." Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live. Hi, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Cole. Good evening, Miss Cole.
Good evening, Tanti. How are you doing?
This is Tance. Now, I see we have made history. That is great because I think you are making history too. Now, you've touched on a very important subject. So, whilst I congratulate our woman president, I am waiting to see how she will deal with our Chief Justice. Then I will give you my comments. Because you must rule without fear or favor. Right? Now, Dr. Rowley, the Right Honorable Dr. Rowley, disappointed me. When a dead man that cannot defend himself, you took it upon yourself with such tenacity to rebuke and ridicule that man. Already we know you have not put any tone, any mention of a remembrance of the Right Honorable deceased Patrick Manning. And it's upsetting. You didn't even offer his wife, who once served as Minister of Education, and she did a damn good job, on local development. I mean, why are you picking on the dead? At the end of the day, it was Mr. Prime Minister deceased Patrick Manning that authorized, what you say, commissioned, the word, Miss Cole? Those apartments came under Patrick Manning's tenure. And remember that, Dr. Rowley, don't take kudos for something that you did not put down. He's dead and gone. He cannot defend himself. And he did say something that will go down in the history. When you step on the man's corn, he becomes a raging bull. And so said, so done, we have been seeing it. We have been seeing everything Patrick Manning said. And it's shameful, shameful that you could do such a thing. And kudos to you, Mrs. Manning. Come out and defend your man. Come right out and defend him. I'm with you, and lots of us are with you. Miss Cole, you have a blessed day. I'm locked on as usual to your lovely program. God rest in peace, Mr. Manning. You don't need any tombstone thing or any plaque. You did all these houses that UNC gave out. You authorized them. You built them. Thank you, Miss Cole. Have a blessed day. Thanks in and out.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Tanti. Tanti, you're on the button, you know, as it relates to this evening's discussion. Now, allow me to complete this, this piece of couture that I have in my hands here, and then I'm going to take your calls. Now, in his feature address at the distribution ceremony for View Fort, Dr. Rowley said, and I quote, "Permit me to get personal on this. I heard my colleague talk about our political opponents. It is not only your political opponent that can do bad things. Your political friends can do bad things too. This project wasn't stopped by our political opponents. It fell prey to our own politics in the PNM." He said, "You may recall one day in the parliament, our prime minister got up and mentioned that $10 million was missing from the HDC, and the minister had to account for it. The minister being me, not me, but Dr. Rowley, because he told the minister, because the minister had told the then prime minister that $10 million was missing, that resulted in a commission of inquiry." You all forget that? I can never forget that, Rowley said. I'm still quoting Dr. Rowley. "And in search of that $10 million, all these projects became casualties of that development. And then soon after, we lost the election, and worse was to come," he said. Now, a bit of background. Manning, former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, now deceased, questioned Dr. Rowley about what he said was $10 million missing from the Cleaver Heights housing project during the budget debate in Parliament in October 2008. Yes, get familiar. On the cold truth, we dig, we get to the bottom, we try to, you know, bring the truth as cold as possible. Now, this is since October 2008. Now, Rowley was then fired from Manning's cabinet in April that year. An interesting turn of events took place when the widow of former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, Mrs. Hazel Manning, issued a press release a few days ago. And in it, she said, Now, on returning home to Trinidad, I was stopped short by headlines of acrimony and blame about Viewfort Housing Development, St. James, and articles arguing that based on reports from a cabinet colleague about another project, Prime Minister Patrick Manning stopped the Viewfort project. I believe that it is my responsibility to respond to Patrick Manning's, to respond on Patrick's behalf, and to find the peace I found in Costa Rica where development is taking place in a harmonious setting. Now, Bacchanal now start. Mrs. Manning referred to one of her late husband's favorite quotes that, and I quote, "Facts are a stubborn thing," before dropping the bomb on Dr. Rowley with some questions that I feel the public could only benefit from knowing the answers and the cold truth about. And we're going to try to get former housing minister under the People's Partnership government, Dr. Rudal Munilal, in a very short. But some of the questions, and I am opening back the telephone line, 622-9785 or 628-6093, whilst we try to get Dr. Munilal on the line. Now, some of the questions that Mrs. Manning asked: when did the court give its final verdict? When were the residents removed from the site to facilitate construction? And I've got to stop to take this call. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cole. Listen, this is Paul again here.
Yes, my dear.
Now, where you're going with this, I feel that this is making a mountain of a molehill, right? Is that look, these houses could have been finished and distributed a long time ago.
A very long time ago.
Because of the internal controversy that was then, that was proved to be a typographical error. I believe that was the conclusion of that $10 million. So Mr. Manning wasn't wrong in his allegation, in his questioning. That was the information that was put to him. So Dr. Rowley, a woman called and said, Dr. Rowley called not the name that name and all. I didn't see it as pointing fingers. I saw it as stating the facts that led to the kickback of the completion and the distribution of this housing project. I didn't interpret it as calling up the dead man name and pointing and making allegations, and I didn't interpret it that way at all. Right? And I would like for people to listen to what the man said and take it at face value. That he simply explained the reason why the houses weren't finished in that tenure, or a lot sooner, because of the infight among the PNF. And then he said, party, we lost the election, and then other parties don't finish what this party starts, and that was the kickback for the whole thing. And how much years of it being incompleted and not distributed.
Kola, could I ask you a question? Now you're coming across as if you're disagreeing with me, and you're entitled to that, because you said that you knew where I was going with this. But I am not going anywhere with this.
No. When I said that you were going, I know what the conversation that you were starting.
But this is how Mrs. Hazel Manning responded to Dr. Rowley's speech at the distribution ceremony.
Yes, and it looks like she interpreted the same way as well. Like she was jabbing spear, Mr. Manning. I don't see it that way, right? I just see it as explaining why the kickback happened. You understand?
Okay.
Maybe she sees it. If she sees it that way, I can't blame her for how she interprets it. But I didn't see it that way. I saw it as him just explaining why the kickback.
Well, I mean, as I said, I just quoted Dr. Rowley saying, permit me to get personal on this. I heard my colleague talk about our political opponents. It is not only your political opponents that can do bad things. Your political friends can do bad things too. This project was, let me finish. This project wasn't stopped by our political opponents. It fell prey to our own politics in the people's national movement. End quote. So, as I said, clearly you disagree. But
no, I don't disagree. There's nothing to disagree.
Okay.
There's nothing to disagree. What he said is correct, and what I'm saying is correct. It's all fell down because of the infighting in the PNF. That's exactly what you're saying, you know. We stopped the fight among ourselves, point fingers, who criminal, who thief, and who take the purple, and because of that infighting and allegations of corruption, we have to stop all the projects so that we could do our investigation and whatnot. And that was the cause of the keeper. Right? That is not to say that Mr. Manning was wrong for stopping the project because he had his evidence to prove that $10 million was missing.
But
in hindsight, now we know it was proven now that it was a typographical error.
Right. So let me ask you, final question before you go. Do you think that it was appropriate for Dr. Rowley to go there at the distribution center? Sorry, at the distribution.
Yes. I think you're appropriate and very much of him because the other minister made it look like the opposition had it stalled. And he just simply put these facts in place and look, it isn't only the opposition. Yes, the opposition had 5 years and they could have finished it, but we had our problems why it was stopped in the first place. I think it was setting the record straight. I think the UNC would never do something like that to set the record straight and look, that to let the people know that, hey, we must not do it. It is past, some of it is our fault why the thing was kept back. The UNC would never do something like that. And I think that is what makes PNM a strong path. Because they could say, we heard, and that was the initial point why this thing not keep kept back.
Thank you so much for your contribution, my love. 622-9785-628-6093. But, you know, Mrs. Manning went on to ask some real, you know, serious questions, you know. She asked, when did the court give its final verdict? So as to challenge Dr. Rowley, you know, as it relates to his statements, because at least from what I can see and what I was able to interpret, she felt as though the sentiments that Dr. Rowley echoed were unnecessary and perhaps maybe a bit of an exaggeration, maybe untrue. Hi, good afternoon, caller, you're live. Hello.
Hello, Miss Cole?
Yes, my dear.
Yes, thanks. Just give me one moment. I want to know if that caller was married. I'm not even going to go there. Let's just take it at another angle. Hazel Manning was obviously married to Patrick Manning. She would know that was his only wife, her only husband. She would know his thoughts. She would know his thinking. She was a minister as well, highly educated. Who would know his thoughts better than her? And you could say that any caller call in and say, they know what he was thinking and what he wasn't thinking. Nobody but Mrs. Manning would know that. And if she felt it was in her right to defend her deceased husband, well then, it speaks for itself, Miss Cole. And it was not appropriate for Dr. Rowley to go there. Not appropriate, and he has proven it. Not one iota of recognition that we ever had Patrick Manning all those years, years as Prime Minister. No recognition at all. It's as though he don't want him to be wiped off of the face of Trinidad. Thank you, Miss Cole. Thanks in and out.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Tanti. You had to take it out a little bit, you know. I find you get it, you know, real antsy as of late, as you know, we hit on these hard topics, but some really pertinent questions that I would like to get the answers to. And I am, again, trying to see if we can get Dr. Munilal to call in, to weigh in on the statements that were made by Dr. Rowley. When did the court give its final verdict? When were the residents removed from the site in St. James to facilitate construction? Now, what I can definitely say to you is that when I did the HDC drive in 2016, that is one of the developments that I covered. And I myself, I do have footage that would show that there were no residents within that particular area. In fact, from the research that I had done, one of the issues that existed on this site was it appeared that there was some sort of town and country issue in that the building was taller than some houses behind it, and they needed to the HDC needed to rectify that aspect of it before it went forward. I mean, in any event, she asked when were the designs for the structures completed. She went on to ask when did construction actually begin? When were the statutory approvals received from the various government agencies? Exactly what I just alluded to a couple minutes ago. Now we're going to try to get Dr. Munilal on the line, but whilst we're doing that, I'm going to stop for a final break in this evening's program. You're watching The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.
Edge Solution is a brand of hair and skin products that are used to treat different issues. We offer a hair treatment oil that repairs traction, alopecia, and thinning hair and edges. A scalp treatment cream that's used for dandruff, dry scalp, folliculitis, and other funguses that are in the scalp. We also have a shampoo and conditioner that works along with our cream and oil, giving you maximum benefits. Our shampoo is peppermint infused, which helps unclog pores and aid in hair regrowth. We also have a calming skin lotion, which is excellent for psoriasis, eczema, and other skin issues. All our products are all natural and contains no harsh chemicals and are 100% handmade.
Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold.
Welcome back to The Cold Truth. I am Kim
Yes,
Cole.
hello.
And on the line, as promised, Dr. Munilal, former Housing Minister under the People's Partnership government. Good afternoon, Dr. Munilal, and welcome to our program.
Good afternoon.
Now, Dr. Munilal, Mrs. Manning threw out some questions in her statement to the media as it relates to the statements made by Dr. Rowley at the distribution ceremony as it relates to the View Fort housing development in St. James. Now,
Sure.
among those questions are, when did the court give its final verdict? When were the residents removed from the site to facilitate construction? When were the designs for the structures completed? When did construction actually begin? And so on and so forth. We're going to get in a bit later on. But we would I would love it if you could weigh in on the statements made by the Prime Minister with respect to this housing project. What are your views?
I did issue a statement yesterday,
Right.
in which I pointed out, along similar lines as Mrs. Manning, we have in our possession, of course, a report from the HDC dated September 21st, 2015, which gives a profile, a technical profile of that housing site.
Right.
That housing site began in 2006, more or less. It was plagued by enormous problems of poor drawings, poor design, poor engineering, a lack of statutory approvals, and so on. And the HDC at the time under then Minister Housing, Keith Rowley, pursued that project without the proper project management, project execution, and without statutory approvals and so on. I think Mr. Garcia was involved as well, Mr. Noel Garcia. And what happened was that the HDC was actually taken to court sometime in 2008 by a resident in the area claiming in civil court that one of the buildings they were constructing was blocking her light, and that is a matter in court. And that was the subject of a court action from 2008 to January 2015. The lawyer in that matter, incidentally, for the HDC was Mr. Faris Alwari, the current Attorney General, was the lawyer. And we met him on the case and we kept him on the case. And I think that is one of the few cases he ever won. But the HDC won the case in January 2015. And then we continued doing the work of recruiting consultants and contractors and so on. But it was a sick project from the beginning because of a lack of process, a lack of proper planning and management. So I was taken aback really and horrified that Dr. Rowley on Saturday sought to blame Patrick Manning and his administration, and Patrick Manning essentially, for the delay in the construction and completion of that project, when it had to do with Dr. Rowley himself as Minister of Housing and the ensuing legal action. Now, if they had done consultations with the residents and undertaken the project in a proper way, we would not have had a court action for 6 years. You would have worked out with residents what is happening, get their buy-in into a project, which we did in the HDC under Ms. Jolene John and the respective chairman of the HDC. We would have consultations with the residents in any community we go to build. So that was the real story, and of course, Dr. Rowley cast aspersions on Mr. Manning and the $10 million issue, which had to do with Cleaver Heights in the east, not any project in the north. And Mrs. Manning really asked the more detailed questions, but those are the answers to some of her questions. But that project was a sick project from the beginning. There were other projects Dr. Rowley started. In fact, I can tell you that no housing project he started was completed in time, within budget. They were all poorly planned and executed and with enormous cost overruns. I mean, Wellington, Debe, Retrench in San Fernando, Arima, Malabar, Edinburgh Towers, which is still an eyesore. They were all, of course, the infamous Las Alturas, they were all under Dr. Rowley, so that he has a horrific record in housing, and to blame Patrick Manning or the People's Partnership, I don't know if you took note, but the women's arm of the PNM issued a statement. Did you see it?
I saw it. I
Now the women's arm is actually the English translator for the Prime Minister, because they are translated into English what he said. But he clearly blamed Patrick Manning, and then he said he didn't blame Patrick Manning, he blamed Munilal and Ms. Dickford and so on. Ms. Dickford came on board at the end of 2007. She was there for 2008 to 2010. And in fact, in all fairness to her, she had to deal with the mess that she inherited from Dr. Rowley. So I thought it was really obnoxious, his comments on Saturday last.
Now, final question before you go, Dr. Munilal, we must say thank you, for
calling in. Could you speak a bit louder, please?
Final question before we go. What is the state of the HDC development?
What is what?
This current state of the HDC development at... Doctor, are you there?
Yeah, I mean, the current state of the HDC development at where?
At Union Hall.
Union Hall is another case where we have completed about 300 single homes, single dwelling units. They have apartments, duplex to complete. They have abandoned the project in Union Hall. I have taken note that senior PNM officials are now stumbling over themselves to get houses at Union Hall built under the partnership administration. But that has stopped. They have all but dismissed the contractor. The matter may be in court by this time. So that there are several housing estates that they have just shut down. They have failed to complete and distribute. And they continue to bungle over themselves in this matter. So, even in Las Alturas, I'm not sure if they have taken any action as it relates to the demolition of the structures there.
Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, thank you very much, and God bless.
There you had it. Dr. Munilal, who answered and even, corroborated, some of the answers that I just gave to you as it relates to that Viewfort HDC development. I am getting another call here. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. You're live?
Yeah. Please, don't let me come back in a TV now. He's like a dangerous speaker.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Caller 622-978-56286-093. That's the number to call in. And I mean, I asked for Dr. Munilal to call in because he would have been the predecessor to, he was the immediate former housing minister. At the Cold Truth, all I'm interested in is answers. It doesn't matter where the answers come from. All I want to find out is the cold truth about the issues. Hi, good afternoon. Yes, I do apologize, but that call has dropped. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, my dear. Hello.
I heard the evening I was watching this program.
Caller, you're live. Could you please listen?
And a fella said that.
Hold on a second. Could you please listen to me on your phone and not your TV? Hello. I invite you to call back 622-9785 or 628-6093. But yes, it appears that, there is some sort of, couture, a lot of things cooking in the PNM right now. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir, good afternoon.
Right, is this the Miss Cole show?
Yes,
is
my
it?
dear, you are live.
All right, I'll find that what she's saying, I don't know it has any merit, but instead of her taking all the blows, why does Mrs. Manning don't come next to her and sit, that she could answer some of the questions that she will have to be reading on paper? That's my contribution. Okay. And where does Calder come in the housing? That they blaming Dr. Rowley. Where does Calder come in?
Thank you so much, for your contribution. It seems like, the pot stirring a bit more Calder while, he has, since absconded and, we are unable to bring Calder before our local courts. But the questions that I am reading from the paper are the same questions that Mrs. Manning would have asked. And I will in fact try to get Mrs. Manning on the line, perhaps on tomorrow's program, so that, she can, shed some light on the issue. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms.
Yes,
Cole.
sir. Yes, my dear, you're live.
Nice. I hear the questions that Mrs. Manning asking. Mrs. Manning, I don't know the relevance of the questions that she asking me. There is a deep pain thing that she asking about that you and I may not be able to understand. I definitely don't understand. I don't know if you know what's going on there. I don't have a clue where them questions come from and what is the symbolism of those questions. But the woman who called her son big enough, so the woman who called her son big enough, Mr. Manning and Mr. Manning and Mr. Manning, he must also recognize that Mr. Rowley was the Minister of Housing that actually built the ministry, in charge of the ministry that actually built those houses, right? So he needs to get some kudos for that too. I just always give Mr. Rowley kudos for being one of the ministers that I say in my interpretation built the most houses in Trinidad and Tobago as housing minister, right? I stand to be corrected, but since I started following politics, I noticed him as the man who built a lot of houses. Some of the houses he built still empty. I used to tell you how much houses he built, right? But I would like, the question that I would like to have asked Ms. Cole is what is happening with all these other abandoned houses that all around Trinidad and Tobago that's not given out, right? Especially the two towers in Edinburgh 500 that is built there and moss growing in it, windows dropping off of it and whatnot. What is happening with these buildings, right? And why you have all those houses abandoned, incomplete, but you're looking to take away farmland from people in an area that is already saturated and overpopulated to build more houses again. You understand? These are the questions that I want to hear journalists asking when they in the forum, when they with ministers and whatnot and whatnot. I would like you to be in those questions, with those post-cabinet meetings, you know, to ask them questions. Because I just wonder what these journalists are asking about. They'll be asking some nonsensical questions in those post-cabinet meetings. They want to know, what the hell, right? I want to know when are you going to build a dam in Lavatil so when water go, every year water going on the dam empty and we have to conserve water. When the country is going to build 2 or 3 other dams in Trinidad and Tobago. You understand?
Yes, I do understand. Thank you so much for your contribution, caller. But caller, I mean, if you have been following this program at least for the last 6 weeks, this HDC it would have been discussed within the first and the third week. I have been asking all these questions. Why is it, you know, and you can listen to me off air. Why is it we're building all these new developments when we have existing developments? But I mean, that is not, you know, I mean, it falls under the context of, you know, the housing, but what I want to zero in on is this particular development in St. James the View Fort. Now, I know for a fact when I did the HDC drive, I did the research, I was digging into, I dug into about 26 developments throughout Trinidad. This is one of the developments that I looked into, and I know for a fact that, and as I mentioned to you earlier, I know for a fact that there was an issue as it relates to town and country whereby a neighbor would have taken the HDC to court because one of the towers were blocking her view. That's what I know. And I did that HDC drive in 2015. So, you know. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live.
Hello?
Yes, my dear. Good afternoon.
Yes, afternoon. I want to say Dr. Rowley was one and is one of the best housing ministers ever passed through Trinidad. The other PP man you had just there, he is manning houses he still they give out. What they did do? You understand? And I listened what Dr. Rowley said. He never blamed Mr. Manning, never. The CNC, UNC3, or all with poor journalism. All they do is look to make bacchanal. Pick out one word there, pick out a next word there, and they put it together and they say this one, say and that. They don't investigate nothing. Only a set of bacchanal and a set of fake profiles on Facebook saying all kind of things. You understand? It's time for the truth to come out. God put up and God take down.
Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, could I ask you a question?
Hello?
Could I ask you a question?
Yes, ask me any question.
So let me ask you this, right? In his feature address at the distribution ceremony for View Fort, Dr. Rowley said, and I
hardly hear you, you're breaking up.
Permit me, sorry. In his feature address at the distribution center for View Fort,
Ms. Cole, I am not hearing you. Your audio is very poor.
Can you hear me now?
In his feature address, I heard exactly what Dr. Rowley said, Miss Cole.
Right.
You understand? We had a problem with Calder Heart. People did not vote out Mr. Manning. Mr. Manning was a great leader, but everybody have a faults. You understand? And he had some faults too. And stop making people into gods in this nation. There's only one God. And God does remove other gods. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. I don't understand how you could say we didn't vote out Patrick Manning at the time. So how else did we end up with Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessa if we did not vote out Patrick Manning? I mean, sometimes when you all call in, you just frustrate me with, you know, wanting to be you know, biased. This is the cold truth, where we speak the truth and, you know, nothing but the absolute truth. Hi, good afternoon, caller. Hello. 6229785 or 6286093. This is the opportunity for you to weigh in on this evening's discussion as it relates to, you know, his wife of former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, and some, you know, really choice words that she had for Dr. Keith Rowley as it relates to the statement that he made in his feature address at the distribution ceremony for the Viewfort housing development in St. James. Now, if you ask me, hello? Do I have a call or I don't have a call? Okay. Now, if you ask me, I think that I would naturally be inclined, I mean, based on what I have read and what I have understood, I think that Mrs. Manning is well within her right to defend, you know, her now deceased husband in his absence, and put forward, you know, some questions to Dr. Rowley, because it appears to me that, I mean, look, this is the cold truth. Play dog, bad manners. That wasn't the time and place for that. You know, Mr. Manning, he already passed on, and I think that it was, you know, totally unnecessary, given the current state of affairs in this country. That is just, you know, stirring an unnecessary pot, and, you know, getting a bit too personal, you know, with respect to, you know, the situation. Now I'm getting another call. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You are live. Hello? Hello? Yes, good afternoon. Yes, caller, you're live.
I don't think why Miss Manning should interfere with Rowley. Why she don't step aside? That is something that she shouldn't get into it.
But why do you think she should not get involved?
Let me give Rowley a chance. She have no right in this kind of thing, man. That time passed, Manning dead, and that is it. You know? When she want to show, she self up.
Thank you, you know, for your contribution, caller. Many people, you know, on Dr. Rowley's side, many people have articulated a position that Dr. Rowley was one of the best housing ministers. There are several developments that would have been, you know, built under Dr. Rowley's tenure. Many people are of the view that, you know, Dr. Rowley, you know, was not a good Minister of Housing. Well, Dr. Munilal certainly is of the view that there were many projects that were built whilst Dr. Rowley was the former housing minister, and these projects, you know, have had a lot of, they were faced with a lot of issues. Case in point, the now completed development in St. James. I'm also aware that the development, those two towers in the Edinburgh 500 area that are still standing in the air, they are pretty much, you know, skeletal, and that is not the development I'm talking about in the Edinburgh 500 area. I'm talking about, you know, when you're driving down the highway, you're going to see, you know, a big plot of land, you know, around the Lange Park area, and you see two tall buildings, you know, that are just, you know, derelict, and they're an absolute eyesore. Those two were also built under Dr. Rowley's tenure. But tomorrow, as we wrap up this evening's program, I'm going to try to get in touch with Mrs. Manning so that she can elucidate and, you know, clear the air, you know, on, you know, this bubbling issue. And I am certainly going to dig a bit more into this HDC development in the St. Augustine, or the proposed development in the St. Augustine area. I'm going to try to get Mr. Vasant Bharat to chime in on, you know, the issue. So I must say thank you so much to all of you for viewing this evening's program. You have been looking at the cold truth, where we get to the bottom of the issues that affect us all in this country. Thank you so much for viewing. We see you tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, our country is falling apart.
The nation is in mourning tonight.
Our institutions are failing. Crime is out of control. It is our duty to fix it. We are touching on every sector of society. Race, class, and corruption. Nothing is off limit. No holds barred. The Cold Truth with Kim Cole. The power belongs to the people. Join us right here, Monday to Sunday, 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m.